This congressman actually called it.
He's going to say, God, there's over 6 million undocumented workers that have been here 10 years or more. And they've established roots in their community.
So
they
what's
have
he going to do?
Citizen wives. They have
You're
American
saying 6 million then will be granted.
No, I don't know.
Here?
I'm simply saying that
well,
there,
I think you know. I think you're you're tight with the president. You're tight with the White House. So I don't think you just say this stuff out of turn. I mean, have you heard from the White House that it is looking at granting up to 6 million illegals amnesty?
Do not tell your viewing audience that I've heard this from the White House. I have not heard this from the. This is what I believe is going to happen. This is what I'm betting is going to happen. And because you and I are friends, I'm sharing with you my thinking.
He doth protest too much. All right, Congressman, I knew you knew. With me now, Illinois Democrat Louis Gutierrez back with me. You knew almost to the exact number back then, didn't you?
I knew there was a number. I used 6 million on your program. It's going to be 5 million people. That's been, I don't think I'm speaking out of line or kind of undercutting the president's announcement tonight. It's been reported by Fox News
but that makes you a power player here, because you were early on to this, got early wind of this, and methinks that is far from just coincidental being ahead of this. Leaving that aside and owing to your stature, I'd like you to now move forward and think of the reaction, because Republicans are furious. The sheriff, who you might have just caught a little of there, Congressman, he's furious that this is going to make a messier. What do you say?
Here's what I say. The Republican majority in the House of Representatives had an opportunity for 2 years. I know they say, hey, we were never going to adopt the Senate bill. They didn't have to adopt the Senate bill. They could have adopted their own bill. I think Speaker Boehner called the President of the United States. I know Speaker Boehner, you know Speaker Boehner called the President in June and said, despite all your efforts, despite all my best efforts, we're just not going to do anything. And here was the play of the Republican Party.
Well, they couldn't see eye to eye on border security. Wasn't that the issue?
It didn't matter. The House Republican majority does not take its cue on legislative practice or policy from the President of the United States. They could have presented their ideas, and we know we could have gone under regular order. There was a Senate bill, there was a House bill, they would have gone to conference.
But let's say there was a House bill and it went to the Senate. Given the fact that 300 other pieces of legislation just stopped at Harry Reid's inbox, what's to make you or anyone else think it would have gotten further?
But this one was a priority. I think you and I both agree this one was a priority. The fact is, they did nothing, Neil. Nothing. They never presented a platform.
Why is the president then doing this now? He was so hot to trot to do this. Why not do this in the first 2 years when he had the run of the table, when he had the House going his way, the Senate going his way? Why not then? Why now?
Well, his priority then, it wasn't my priority, was the Affordable Care Act. That was his priority then. And then he took as a second priority immigration. What makes this a priority
now? There's a lot going on in the world now. You have ISIL killing people, beheading people.
But here's what happened.
You have the economy imploding again, right?
There was an election in November of 2012. President won by 5 million votes. He said it's going to be a priority, and he did get it through. He helped shepherd it through the Senate with 68 votes, very bipartisanship. We had Border Patrol. Look, everybody keeps talking about the border. Well, they threw 30,000 additional Border Patrol agents in that bill. The House refused. And I just want to make one point, because everybody keeps talking about securing that border. Why do they always talk about the border between the United States and Mexico? What about the border at LAX, the border at JFK, the border at O'Hare, the border at Miami? That's where 4 million plus undocumented workers entered the United States. But we never talk about that border. I want to secure all borders.
But you talk about how this is the humane and the right thing to do, as you did last time, for these people who are here, who had kids here. You've heard the argument against it, that this just is a matter of time before the other 7 or 8 illegals that we know of are essentially granted the same freeze and deportations. And people come back and say, whatever your humane argument, have we done anything else to just deal with the porous border? To deal with the fact, whether at airports, whether along the border, people keep coming in. And is there something to be said about people who look at this in countries where they want to leave and come here, that they're actually emboldened to do so now, that this looks like a good deal?
Couple of things. Number one, I'm happy we're talking about borders that isn't just the border between Mexico and the United States.
No, you're not. I mean, if you're happy about it, I haven't heard others in your party happy about talking about borders.
It is the only border that Republican candidates to the House and to re-election in the Senate spoke about. They talked about Ebola, they talked about ISIS, and they talked about the porous border.
Congressman, I love you dearly, but you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. Do you think then, can you understand the reluctance a lot of folks have, even within your party, that we're ignoring the sort of like the ticking bomb here, porous border, porous airports, porous everything, and no one is talking about that. We're all interested, hey, give these permanent status to these illegals who are here.
Let me respond this way. Number one, we've never had as many Border Patrol agents as we've had today. We offered 30,000 additional
we've never had as many illegals as we have today.
The fact is, if you look at the border between Mexico and the United States, it's pretty neutral in terms of people coming and leaving. Number one, but
we just had 70,000 kids march through the border like it was going into the Poconos.
What the president's going to do, he's going to allow 5 million people to register with the government. Register with the government. Go through a thorough background check at their own expense. Pay taxes, get on the books, and pay any back taxes. You know what? Doing nothing is amnesty. Doing this puts millions of people who are undocumented on the books. And it's a first step. Look, I wish the Republican majority in the House and the Senate would stop complaining and stop whining and start legislating and presenting their views.
Well, unfortunately, regardless of your views on that, do you think the well has been poisoned, though, Congressman? Do you think it has been poisoned? Whatever the justification you think for the president, is he destroyed it?
What I believe is the following. We have worked hard to make sure that American citizen children have a mom or a dad, and that spouses of American citizens are sacrosanct. But more importantly, I think the Republican Party knows what unifies them. And what unifies them is being against Barack Obama. What divides them is immigration. We should put not party politics and partisan politics. We should put what's good for America first, and not what unites our party.
But what unifies them is a president ignoring them and ignoring the will of the people from the midterm elections. This goal might be meritorious. The way the president is ramming it through is not.
The Republican Party has 180 days, and I'm going to go to the House floor in January, and I'm going to put up a calendar, and I'm going to say, you have 180 days from today, January 1st, before the executive action takes effect. 180 days.
We'll see if they do that.
And present
That's a good
legislation.
Point. And they shouldn't ignore you because you have the ear of the president and know everything that he's thinking and going on, as we've proven. So, Luis Gutierrez, very good seeing you again. Thank you.
Hey, Neil. Thanks for having me on.